Good morning everyone, my name is Katie and welcome back to the channel. It is Sunday the 16th of October and it is 8 o'clock in the morning. I wanted to come to the allotment yesterday and by the time I got done everything else I needed to do, it was bucketing it down, and I woke up this morning, saw that it was blue skies for maybe just a small time because we are rain due. So I quickly got dressed, packed some coffee and breakfast and rolled on up here. So today I thought I'd take you along on the process of starting to shut down the allotment for winter. We're not quite there yet. I'm still getting a lot of produce, but the frosts are incoming. So there are quite a few things that you need to do. This isn't just going to happen today. This is going to happen over the next few weeks until we get our manure delivery. We're very, very fortunate in that manure actually does come included with our plots here. So my goal today is to pick all of the outdoor tomatoes, whether they're green, red, yellow, doesn't matter. Pick all of them, pull the plants, compost them. Because the frost is coming, I don't want to waste them. I'm going to use the green ones. I'm going to ripen some of the big ones on my windowsill, and the rest I'm going to turn into green tomato salsa because we love Mexican food at my house. Then what I also want to do is I want to start clearing. So for no dig, which is what I do, you clear it all, weed it all without obviously turning up the soil too much, and then you put food down for the soil and then you cover it for winter. So I'm going to be doing that. However, I might not get as far as the bits that I'm going to be covering, because the first thing I need to do is I want to clear the area where my overwinter garlic is going to be. And what I'm going to do is clear it, shove some compost down, plant my garlic, and then put a layer of straw or hay over the top. This will act as a weed barrier, and then hopefully my overwinter garlic does better than my summer garlic did, because we all know how that went. I'm going to turn you around, let you have a look at the green disaster that is Lottie. Very different from the last time you looked, so let's take a look. As you can see, she's gotten a bit out of control. I mean, the volunteer nasturtiums have just gone mad. Part of the archway there has come down, so that needs to be remedied. But I've got some tomatoes here, some tomatoes here, some tomatoes there, some tomatoes down the end, and then this bit here where the French beans and cosmos were and the spinach, that's the bit I want to clear for the garlic. So let's get started. Okay, so that's those two tomatoes gone. I've also just cleared a few nasturtiums. So I've got a big wheelbarrow here full where I can put all of my compost. This is all the green tomatoes just from one plant. And I've got a couple of ripe ones which I'm trying to keep separate. So I can see that I've got some parsley to collect, which is awesome. Despite appearances, I do actually have a row of tomatoes there. I don't know if there's going to... Oh, I can see a couple of things actually. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to pull that, and then because this area has gotten so weedy after I pulled up the beetroot, I can see I've got a few beetroot as well. I think what I might do is just hoe this area and sprinkle some straw down for the weed barrier, because obviously my manure's not here yet, so I could just get going with some straw. As you can see, I've got a whole hay bale in here. Sue and I went and grabbed hay bales the other day. Okay, so I'm thinking let's get started. I'm going to trim the parsley, I'm going to pull the beetroot, and then I'm going to pull the tomato plants and clear the area. Let's do it. Okay, and that area is done. There's too much hay down this end, but I'm going to need it for in a minute anyway, so I'm just leaving it there because I'll pull some off. So I weeded it, got my weed bucket here, just hoeing it really, really gently so as not to disturb the soil underneath. You don't have to put hay down. I am literally doing this as sort of, well, it's extra food for the soil, but also as a weed prevention, because if I've weeded once, I don't want to weed again, and our manure's not coming for another 2 weeks or so. So once the manure comes, I will be able to just barrow it, layer it out on top, spread it out, and then cover with my black plastic from last year. So this side is done. Those are my weeds. That's got to go down to the compost. I've got some parsley, I've got some beetroot, green tomatoes, and really excitingly, didn't realise it had done anything, is that I got my tomatillos. So they will go in with my green tomato salsa. So that is awesome. I grew those inspired by Becky at Acre Homestead. In a bit I'll show you the one that is in the greenhouse because it has gone absolutely mental. So I think I'll be growing them outside next year. So here, this is the next section I want to do because this is where my garlic's going to go. So I'm going to clear this, lay a bag of compost down that I've got left over from this year, and then plant my garlic, and then pop the straw hay on top. Now, no manure will be going on top of this bit, and there won't be any black plastic covering it either. So when I do my second planting next year, which will be here, I'll just make sure I put down some nutrients for the soil, so that it's not completely useless after I pull my garlic, which hopefully fingers crossed will work. So I can see I've got a little bit of rainbow Swiss chard to harvest, so I'm going to do that, and then the rest of it is going to the compost. And look, I've still got some beautiful zinnias here as well. They are stunning. I may pick a tiny bunch and take them home and put them in a vase for my little one. My celery has randomly decided to shoot up, pop up and be happy, so I may go round and see what celery I can get as well, because I've already taken one harvest home, and this is the second shooting. So let's get on with this area. Okay, so I have cleared this area, random harvest of a load of Swiss rainbow chard, the bright lights, and one random lone yellow bean. So now I'm going to take it a bit further because I'm not sure how much space I'm going to use for my garlic. I've got 3 different types, so I'm going to weed it and take it a bit further, probably take out this celery that's here, maybe go up kind of in line with that little stick there, weed it, and then I have a full bag of compost there which I'm going to spread out. I also have some all-purpose food. Oh my gosh, I've just noticed, see if I can get a picture of him. I've just noticed, can you see him in there? Little bumblebee. Wow, amazing. And it's October. Right, so weed it, spread the compost, plant my garlic. I'll show you in a minute what varieties I've got. I'm very excited. Please let them work. And then I'm going to be strawing it. So let's do it. So I decided to go ahead and pull all my celery, which was here, all of it here. I also decided to pull the courgette plants as I was here, and I moved my Swiss rainbow chard over to a little basket because there was quite a lot of that, and I thought, oh, well, I've only got a little bit of celery, so I'll put that in the blue basket. I've got like a whole bushel of celery. I honestly thought my celery had completely failed this year. Yeah, I got a little harvest, but it wasn't very much and everything like that. And now, apparently, I've got all of this celery, which is incredible. So what I'm going to be doing with this is I'm going to be stripping the leaves off. I'm going to be dehydrating the leaves, grinding them up with salt and making celery salt, and then the stalks I'm going to chop up and flat freeze so that they are ready for soups, stews and all sorts of things over the winter months. I have tried a bit. It is delicious and crisp, and honestly tastes so much nicer than supermarket celery. I'm kind of just hoping that Sue would like some celery. Hers didn't do as well this year, so if I can share the wealth as she has with me with other things, then I am more than happy to do so. And we have another pile for the compost bin, and I still haven't started weeding, but I did find a couple of random green beans, so I may chuck those in a stir fry later. Considering I only wanted to plant my garlic and pick all my green tomatoes, looks like we're doing a bit more than that today. Okay, so I'm sat in my car having a quick coffee break. The spot is weeded, and over the part that I am planting the garlic, I dumped a whole bag of compost and spread it out. Once I have put the garlic in, I will add some food down as well. But I just wanted to take a moment to show you the garlic that I actually got. So I got 2 lots from Thompson and Morgan in their sale. So I've got 2 big cloves here, and these are Maddock White. So they look great, really excited. They're nice and firm and everything. And obviously when I plant them and break them apart, I will try and keep as much of the paper on as possible. I've seen that you're meant to plant them about 1 inch deep, so that's what I plan to do, give them some space. Yeah, I'm really hoping that these work. So I got these. However, the one I'm most excited about, if I just swap hands over so I can reach them, is these. Yes, those are cloves, because I am going to attempt elephant garlic. I love elephant garlic, primarily because it saves me time when peeling garlic, but they look incredible. And I've got 5 cloves here, so I am really hoping, and my goal is that they all grow and everything else, and then I keep a few of the bulbs and replant again and replant again and replant again, but we shall see. So these are my elephant garlic. And then when I went into the range the other day, sorry, swapping hands back again, when I went into the range the other day, they've actually got an offer on their garlic and like daffodil bulbs and onion things and sets and everything. So I picked up these 2 garlic white Casablanca, and they were like £2, I think. So I'm not going to plant these first. I'm going to plant the other ones first, because I'm more interested in them growing. These were just a bonus, so if I get them in, great. And I have left enough space, I think, to get all of these in. But my number one, after I have finished my sip of coffee, is going to be to get those elephant garlic in first, because I am just so excited about these. And I've already started planning my 2023 allotment, which I know seems ridiculous, but you learn so much each year, and I just want to make sure I don't forget it. So for example, although I had success with my aubergine, I just don't think they're actually worth growing for the amount of aubergine that you get, especially when I'm the only one that eats it, really. So I'm not going to be growing aubergine next year. And there are a few things I'm not going to be growing next year, but there are a few things I want to grow more of. And I also have a better idea of planning and where to put things, and you learn something new every day. So I've done a rough plan for 2023, so I know that where these are going, they should be pulled up, you know, around June time. And I know that once I pull them up and clear them, that is going to be my second planting of French green beans, dwarf beans, because I enjoyed them so much this year and I just didn't have enough because I ate them all fresh and didn't preserve any. So that is going to be the goal. So let's go and plant all this garlic, elephant garlic first. So I went to go and plant the garlic and glanced up and suddenly realised that I hadn't mown my side path. So at our allotments, we put in a policy where you're responsible for one side of one path that runs alongside your allotment, and it goes down so that everyone is responsible for some sort of path, because there are meant to be pathways to walk through so people can get to the water troughs, and obviously when they're barrowing the manure, and we also supply wood chips here when we can get them. So I realised I hadn't done mine and the grass was getting big, and we're really lucky that that we have push mowers up here that we salvage from somewhere. There's 2 so people can use them. It's a real community spirit up here. So we have a sharing table for produce and plants. Earlier in the year it was like shopping at a nursery for plants, which was amazing. We also have a seed sharing box, so you put in seeds that you don't want, but equally you can take out some that you do that you didn't have. And we have the push mowers and a wagon and other tools that people can use, which is really handy for those of us that don't have like strimmers and petrol powered things like that. Although we do have a brush cutter that is a shared one as well, and things like that. We don't keep a lot of it on site because of break-ins and vandalism. Luckily that hasn't happened for a while, but we still need to be safe. We did build a communal polytunnel at one point, but the winds up here took care of that. So yeah, but luckily we all have windowsills and some of us have greenhouses. That's fine. So I've just done the push mower. I did up and down twice, and I did around the front of my gate because that was getting quite high as well, and the maintenance guys that come actually do the hedges and the car through bits, they don't come that close up to our plots, so I just did that. I'm gonna have another quick swig of coffee, and then I'm finally gonna plant the garlic in the ground. And then looking at the amount of produce I've got today, there's a lot more than I thought, and I kind of need to take care of that today. And I promised my daughter that I would make her some apple pie breakfast muffins, which she absolutely loves. If you'd like to see the recipe for that, then please do pop a comment in the section below and give me a thumbs up, and I will happily share that with you. I am going to be making some salsa verde. Now you can either do that with tomatillos or with green tomatoes. I'm going to be doing it with both because I happen to have harvested both, but I don't have enough of the tomatillos to just do it with tomatillos. So my plan is get the garlic in, cover that whole section with straw, and then the only other thing I'm going to do is go round and collect all the green tomatoes because I don't want them destroyed by the frost, and pull the plants. I've got 3 sections left to do that in. But if I don't do anything else, which I've got to try and resist doing, then that won't take too long. And then I will take you with me into the greenhouse briefly, because we're still harvesting. I'm still harvesting peppers. My peppers are insane this year. I'm so pleased. And I'm going to go even bigger and badder next year, I think. And I'm still got ripe tomatoes. I am not harvesting the green tomatoes from my greenhouse because I was picking ripe tomatoes all the way up to November last year, so I'm going to leave those for as long as possible. When the manure arrives, I will cover my plot and then cover it in the black plastic that I've recycled from last year, and then I'm going to dump some more manure on top next to my greenhouse, because then finally when the tomatoes and everything are done in there, I could pull them out and I still have manure left over that can go in there and feed the soil in there, ready for next year's tomatoes, peppers, and I think I'm going to go for cucumbers in there next year because my cucumbers outside this year completely failed, and I'm gutted because I love pickled gherkins, so I was kind of gutting. So, oh, but I did, when I was clearing the weeds and stuff a minute ago, I did just find a little baby pumpkin, and I have no idea how it got over there because I didn't plant pumpkins in that section. I didn't think anyway. So, plant the garlic, cover it in straw, and feed the soil. Get the rest of the green tomatoes from the 3 locations outside, possibly 4 locations, I think, and then go into the greenhouse. Let's do it. And there we have it, guys. Look at all that. I actually feel like I've really accomplished something today, which is incredible. So up to that tall pole there, so I don't miss it, all of this is garlic. I got the elephant garlic all planted, I got the Maddock white garlic all planted, and then I planted 2/3 of a bulb of those white Casablanca from the range. I couldn't fit any more in. I didn't want to fit any more in because of my rough plan for what I know I'm going to plant next year. So this space, once the garlic is pulled, it'll be more spinach, it'll be more rocket, it'll be more green beans. So I didn't want to go any further over, basically. So that's all done. So what I did with my leftover garlic was I gave it to a plot neighbour who wants to plant overwinter garlic this year, and he hasn't got his yet. So that's nice because he'll be able to spend less money. So I'm really happy about that. So this is all done. This is all done. So the next job is going to be to come down here. I physically can't deal with this area because I've still got leeks growing, which I'm not sure are going to do much. I've got carrots in there, and as you can see, I've got a visiting pumpkin, although that can go because there's no time for that to do anything this year. But as you can see, I have a load of tomato bushes in there, so what I want to do is pull them, and I want to just chop down the dead hollyhocks as well. So this is the next set of tomatoes. So I've got my wheelbarrow, I've got my bucket for tomatoes. Let's do it. So I have pulled out the tomatoes from there and from this side behind me. I've dumped them all in a pile and I'm sitting here going through them, putting all the green tomatoes in there, all the ripe ones in there, and all the plants in there ready for composting. So it's just these, and then there's one more section to do, and then I am done pulling all of the outdoor tomatoes, and it looks like I'm going to be making a lot of green salsa and possibly some green tomato chutney. Let's keep on trucking. So I finished down the other end. As you can see, this end's quite wild. I've got 4 plants here and 4 plants over here to dig out for the last of the tomatoes. I've got carrots growing in here. I've got some more rainbow chard which I'm going to harvest. I have got a load of horseradish in here which I'm going to leave because Sue is harvesting that. If you haven't seen it, there's a blog post over on the blog. I'll leave a link in the description below, and she has made 15-minute horseradish sauce which she says is amazing. I don't personally like horseradish, but she loves it. So let's finish off these last few tomatoes and then we're going to head into the greenhouse for a final ripe pick. So this is my greenhouse. I know it is absolutely insane. It's like a jungle. I'm still producing peppers. Now Sue told me an interesting thing. Someone said if you trim the pepper plant down to nothing, it'll grow back the next year and you don't need to plant new ones. So let me know if you know anything about that. I've got some really huge tomatoes coming up. This is my giant tomatillo bush. I will not be making the mistake of planting one of these in my greenhouse next year because it's insane. But I will actually have to start trimming back at some point. So I'm going to harvest these and then we're going to head home. So this is our glut for today. We've got some ripe tomatoes. I have got some more. This is all my green tomatoes. That's a lot of salsa. I've got a lone carrot. I've got what I'd say is probably about half a bushel of celery. Underneath I've got some parsley and some beetroot, rainbow chard, and this little dude is the little pumpkin I mentioned that I found when I was clearing. So that's going to be a little ornamental table decoration. Thank you so much for joining me as we start to shut down Lottie for the winter. We got so much done. We got all the tomato plants cleared. We got 2 whole massive sections weeded and covered with hay, garlic planted, and all that incredible produce. Sorry about the motorbikes going past. All that amazing produce which I now need to go home and process. Thanks for joining me. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe, leave a comment below, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye everybody.